Alright, welcome back guys. So what kind of Dead by Daylight killer are you? So I've compiled a list from my experiences of different types of DBD killers. Let's see if they fit with your playstyle, so stay tuned guys and girls. Alright, so we have different types of players on DBD, and I can guarantee you will have come across these type of players whilst in the fog. I recently did a poll to find out what type of killers my viewers are, and although because I'm a small channel the samples are smaller than what I would have liked, I still got decent numbers to get through. I put the poll up with very little description, so let's see who voted for what and whether you fit in that playstyle. So the first type of killer is the psychotics. These guys are fucking crazy. Like, they will load up the game with one intention, and that is to get 4 kills, and it doesn't matter how they achieve this. You will find yourself on the floor most of the time, and God forbid you even try to mess with these killers. Thinking of sabotaging a hook, you are getting tunneled for the rest of the game. These guys will nod to you or sway side to side to let you know that they are not the type to let you fuck around with them. You want to have fun? Not on their watch, guys. These guys will force you to do the gens as quickly as possible and get the hell out of there. What's that, you say? You run a survivor friend with one dedicated runner? Well, that runner is probably going to spend most of the time on the hook, so you better make sure that at least a couple of you are running around to save your runner before it is too late. The psychotics will generally be crazy outside of the game too, so they will be found mainly dissecting animals, contemplating how to get away with murdering family members, cheering John Kreese and Cobra Kai while shouting strike first and no mercy at the monitors, and seen watching toxic killer builds from creators such as Monto whilst plotting their next trial. These guys are easily triggered by even the mere sign of flashlights and pink haired knees. Be careful. They can be found screaming about nerfs require their object of obsession and decisive strikes on forums, so watch out for these guys. They're easy to spot because usually their comments are like, "This Swift tried to run DS, they all died," with a screenshot of the endgame chat, and usually you will notice the poor survivors only have about 5 or 8,000 points. Be careful when you play these guys and girls. These guys don't mess around and don't care if you've been in the hook once or not. You will usually find they are breaking time records for trials with games going by extremely quickly. Next up we have the sadists. Alright, so you might be wondering the difference between the psychotics and the sadists. Well, the psychotics like to get things done quickly. The sadists are pretty much the opposite in that respect. These guys like the simple things in life, such as going for walks, socialising with their friends, and watching 4 survivors bleed out of their ass whilst laughing mercifully at their monitor. The sadists like to torture you, and you will usually find yourself spending the match crawling around, basically watching the game unfold whilst your fellow survivors are scrambling around fighting for dear life. The sadists will usually enjoy running builds that add to your agony, such as knockout. That perk will be seen most of the time with a sadist. They also like running amazing add-ons such as Eerie Head on Huntress or Tombstone on Michael Myers. Occasionally you will see sadists playing as a pig, and this is usually for one purpose only, to body block the jigsaw box so they can watch your face splitting in two. These guys usually won't worry too much about how the game goes and will be happy even with 1 kill as long as that survivor who died had a horrible and agonising death. The sadists will rarely check on gens. Their motto is gens don't bleed. Next up we have the stalkers. Now these guys are usually happy-go-lucky characters, and their main aim of the game is for you to shit yourself. Literally, nothing would please them more than the thought of you with soiled pants because of the jump scare you just received. These guys are usually seen rocking Ghostface and Myers. They will make themselves known, not usually from a distance, but up close and personal whilst you're on a gen. Their game is all about the stalk. They like nothing better than stalking the juices out of you. Sometimes you have a mix-up, you will have a psychotic playing as Myers, and you can usually tell a difference. The difference is usually when the game is over, after 1 level up to tier 3, the game is done, so you can usually distinguish psychotics in disguise as stalkers, especially if you notice they are running infectious fright. If they are, then run as far away as you possibly can. The stalkers are a little bit more chilled and will prolong a game as long as possible, so you won't generally find these guys camping or tunneling. Stalkers like the game to go on forever to satisfy their scare needs. Next up we have the strategists. Okay, these guys are the killers that will ensure that things for the survivors look like they're running smoothly until you realise that they've made a little fortress from the last 1 or 2 gens left to get. This is what the strategists live for. They are cool, calm throughout, and for some reason I can just imagine these guys watching the game unfold, watching the screen whilst eating an apple until the moment comes for their plans to come to fruition. When these guys aren't playing, they're usually watching creators such as Fungoose to work out every avenue of their plans. They will have graphs and numbers going through the heads throughout, and will usually shout out how many survivors are at a gen by working out the mathematical equation in seconds. These guys will know exactly what is going on in the game. You decide to run urban evasion around the outside of the map, that killer will somehow know. You decide to hide in a locker 100 meters away, the strategist will find you using some sort of equation to come to that conclusion. When these guys and girls aren't playing Dead by Daylight, they usually have hobbies such as debunking flat earthers, writing out their latest One Division theories, and compiling all the change on their bedside table to ensure that they never have to break into big notes when going to the shop. Lastly, we have the negotiators. These guys are usually the type of killers that will bargain with everything. They will be sat at their homes right now negotiating time with their girlfriends or wives. They can go for that meal early, and this will free them up to play Dead by Daylight later on. They are constantly thinking of how to get what they want through the simple art of negotiation. These killers will usually start a game at a frantic pace, however they will then chill out depending on the type of game they have. If they have murdered a few of your friends quite quickly, these guys will be seen allowing the game to reset, so they make sure you have fun and as much chance as they do. These guys are a sucker for gifts. You want to live, then tactically leave your item in front of them. That will melt their hearts, and you will usually be spared to live to fight another day. These guys play DBD for fun, although they do generally have a bit of every killer in them, and will usually be seen playing as a pig. One boot with a snoot, you'll usually see you becoming friends pretty quickly. These guys will generally not trash talk, but can be pretty triggered easily because they are usually good natured people. Toxic players will take advantage of that. These players are generally wholesome, but will be the mortal enemies of the psychotics and the sadists, who will usually complain in forums that these killers are boosting survivors and no mercy is the only way for DBD to go. The negotiators will be the mediators in forums. They will normally be seen sympathising with both changes and seen nodding their heads at changes such as the Mori change, explaining that DS got nerfed too, and they're very reasonable characters in life. Spotting a negotiator in real life is easy. He could be that guy that insists the other party hang up first over the telephone, apologises profusely even if they didn't do anything wrong, and can be usually found nursing bees back to full health on the street with sugar and water. Alright, and that was my 5 different types of DBD killers. Do you relate to any of these? Comment below, let me know. Have I missed any out? Like I said guys, this is from my experiences, and I think I'm pretty much on the money with this. However, like I said, comment below, let me know which killer you are in Dead by Daylight. I am going to be putting up a poll shortly for the different types of survivors in DBD, so make sure you take part in that poll. Hope you enjoyed the video guys. If you did, give it a quick like. If you haven't done so and you do enjoy my content, please consider pressing that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and it will alert you when I release any more new videos. Alright, thanks guys.